Let's take a look at scheduling reports in Standard Time. If you go to the Reports menu and choose Scheduled Reports, you'll probably see this dialog box if you've not set up any reports. Basically what we're talking about is setting up reports so that they are scheduled to run on a regular basis, emailing those to people if necessary, saving them to a particular location. All of that goes into scheduling reports, and this is the dialog box you get if you don't have any set up. So let's go ahead and follow these steps and schedule a report. I've gone over to the left-hand side to the reports, and I'm going to follow the steps that we saw earlier. Right-click on a report and choose Schedule Report. The first thing this wants to do is save the file to a certain location. You probably should use a network path instead of the C drive. What I'm going to do is just make sure that this is in rich text format. So this is the location that the file would be saved every time it's run during the schedule. And replace the file that's there. The next thing that comes up is a dialog box that allows me to make filter choices. You've probably seen this many times as you have run reports, and you can simply click on the tabs along the top, make any choices you want, and the choices you make here are going to be included into the scheduled report so that they're run the same way every time. In this case, all I want to do is just look at last month. So I'm going to choose last month. You see the filter at the bottom. You can clear this and start over if you like. I'm going to go ahead and click OK to keep that choice. So now that I've done that, the Report Schedules dialog pops up. You can see that I have one scheduled report on the left-hand side, and then you see a series of properties on the right-hand side that I can update at any time, really, to make sure that my scheduled report comes out the way I want it to. So there's a name, a description. If it is active, that report will be run. The summary, no detail, means that you're running the report without any detail. Now, you could, if you wanted to, email this to a series of recipients. Just go ahead and type in their email addresses here, separated by semicolons. The report path is where the report is actually run from, and then the export path is where the final results are going to land. Again, you probably should use a network path, starting with // and then the share name, and then the actual file name. There is a filter text that will come out onto the report. If you are familiar with SQL script, this is the script that gets run every time the report is run. So if you need to make any changes, generally programmers would only be the types of people that would want to make changes here. This happens to be the filter start and finish dates or end date that I had chosen. This report is going to come out at 9 a.m. and what I'd like to do is just change this so that it's monthly, first day of the month. And so now I've got this all set up to run, and you're asking now what's next? How would this thing be scheduled? Well, it turns out that there is a program you have to run, and generally speaking this would run on a server, not on a desktop. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I've opened up the folder where Standard Time is installed, and if you had Standard Time installed onto a server where it could access your database and run these reports on an automated basis, that would probably be the best choice, rather than running these on a desktop, because you have to run a program called Rpt Scheduler. That program has to run to schedule these reports to run. So let's go ahead and run that program. It has loaded up all of these scheduled reports. Turns out there's really only one of them here that we saw in that list from before. This program is just sitting here waiting to run the reports on a scheduled basis. In this case, my report will run on the first of every month. So this program needs to be running so that that happens. You could, if you wanted to, actually run these in a manual way. If I just click the Run All Reports Now, it will go ahead and run the report. You can see that it exported this to a certain location. So I can open up that location and see the file that it exported. So let's do that. So I've opened up the file that it just exported, and this is what it looks like. It's basically just an RTF document. That is the results of this file, filtered by last month. So in this case I was looking at a report that was for last month, and it simply shows all of the time log activity for the entire month for all the employees. So that's sort of a way to run those reports on an automated basis. If we go back to standard time, we can always go back into the reports, scheduled reports, to take a look at the properties for all of the reports that are scheduled to run.